What's up to all of my kings and queens and all of my bosses? What's up to all of my young people and everyone in their respective places? I am your girl, Queen Boss Lady, and I'm back to do another video. So this video, I am being led by God and my spiritual team to come forth and just tell my truth about a particular situation in my life that I had to overcome. How I was targeted, how I was gang stalked, gaslighted, and blackballed in Ocala, Florida, by a particular, I would say, secret society. And I am telling my truth the way I experienced it. I'm telling it from a healed and whole, healthy place. If any of these people come across this video, just know that I forgive you. As far as my angels and my spiritual team go, now that's a different story. The way they feel about you is the way they feel about you. And I want to make it quick, simple, and short, but I also want to be very detailed about certain things that happened to me, so that if there's anybody else out there going through this, you're able to heal from it, and you're able to know that you are not alone. And it's not only happening to you, or it hasn't only happened to you, because people do these things to make it seem like it's only happening to you. Now, this doesn't just happen to regular people. No, it only happens to chosen ones. So a lot of people aren't going to receive this message, wholeheartedly, or they're not going to understand a lot of things that I'm saying. And that's okay. I'm not trying to push my truth out on anybody. I'm just being obedient to God. I thought that I was never going to have to speak on this situation, because I was obedient to God and I detached myself from these people. But now I'm being called to, tell my testimony and speak up on my behalf. So, real quick, it's not hot? Oh, okay. Thank you, babies. So, get your tea, your coffee, your Starbucks, or whatever. And I'm telling it because I really want someone else to heal, and this is what my angels and God is calling me to do. So, let's start from the beginning. My mom is a witch, an evil witch, because I've met good witches, and my dad is a warlock. And they did magic for me to become homeless. And this was my second, I would say my first time being homeless. I'll make another video about me being put out when I was 18, okay? So this is like my first time being homeless, but I want to let you guys know that I was unaware of a lot of magic that was taking place and going on at the time. But just to make a long story short, my leasing office just had it out for me. Come to find out, my dad knew the woman that was in the leasing office, and that's why she kept trying to get me put out. She didn't try. She kept going until she was able to get me put out. So I went back home with my mom, and my mom does not like me. I am not a witch. I'm not an evil witch. She just, everything was cool. Everything was coping steady. I was saving up to move out. I had me a little job, and it's like, this is how my family does. It's like, soon as I get right there, like almost finna cross that finish line, like this could be the finish line right here. And as soon as I'm coming up on it, they would just shake up everything. So I had found me an apartment. I talked to the landlord. I went and seen the apartment. He said it was mine. Just come up with the deposit. So that's what I was doing. My mom decided that she wanted to have a celebration. Now, mind you, this is what witches and warlocks do. They celebrate when you're down. Now, all of a sudden, it wasn't nobody's birthday. It wasn't nothing going on, nothing to celebrate. But my mom wanted to throw this party because secretly she was celebrating my downfall and celebrating that their magic had worked. And so my mom asked me to, contribute as far as, give $50 and then, buy some things with my food stamps or whatever. And I was like, no, that's okay. I'd rather save my $50 and put it with my savings. I'm almost close to having the deposit for my apartment. So, I don't really need to party. I don't need to be partying. I need to be focused on my goal as far as my savings, and I'm almost there. And she cussed me out like a dog. I have never seen anyone cuss a dog out. But, that's the old saying. And she just projected. Oh, you don't want to buy it for yourself. You don't want to do nothing for yourself. And I'm the only one, I'm the only child that is very independent and self-sufficient and can, really, do things on my own. And so she just was like, get your shit, get my house, you and your kids, all because I didn't want to give her $100 for a party that she wanted to throw. And so I did not argue with my mom. I just, gathered me and my children's things. And I remember calling my sister, and she came and picked me up, and I was at her house, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So can I just stay here for a few days to figure things out until I get things, figured out or whatever. And I even asked her, I'm like, can you talk to mom for me? Like, I don't understand what's going on. She literally kicked me out because I did not want to give her $100 for a party. She like, no, don't cry over spilled milk. She don't like you. And that's another thing regarding my family. They had no problem expressing that my mother did not like me. Now, why my mother does not like me, I know why, but that's be another video for another day. So my sister had got a call from her god sister saying that there's a human resource center in Ocala, Florida, and they are helping with lights. They're giving out money for lights, and they're helping with, helping you get stability if you're homeless. So I was like, yeah, let's go. I got the gas. I'll fill the tank up. We just got to drop my daughter off at school and we can go. And so she was like, okay. So we went, right? We went to the Human Resource Center in Ocala, Florida, and they told my sister that they could not help her. And when I went into the office, I simply told them, hey, I'm homeless. I cannot trust my family. I cannot trust my sister. And me and my children need a place to stay, because Spirit was already speaking to me about certain things. I only had limited amount of time with my sister before she spazzed out and snapped on me, just as well as my mother did. So she said, baby, sit down. Once Mr. Hackmeyer gets in here, I'm going to allow you to talk to him. And that's what happened. Mr. Hackmeyer seen me, and he evaluated me for who I really was, because a lot of people want to look at me and then they'll paint a whole different facade about me, and that's the moral of this story. So we were in his office, and I had my little baby with me at the time, and I think she was about 2 years old. And when we were talking, and I was just telling him, how I became homeless, and how my mom put me out because I wouldn't, and how my sister was on eggshell. She was looking for a way to betray me in any kind of way. So my daughter kept coming up to me, and she was, bringing me certain things, but she was telling me the color. She was like, Mommy, this color, this is orange. And I was like, yeah, baby, it is. It's orange. And he was blown away. He was like, wait a minute, how old is she? I was like, she's 2. He was like, has she been in school or daycare or anything? I said, no, not right now. She hasn't been in school or daycare. I'm her teacher for right now until I can get her into daycare. And he was like, wow, that's amazing how your daughter knows all these different colors. She was even bringing me different shapes and, you know, and he was like, wow, you are really hands-on with your children and how you teach them. And he says, I'm going to help you. And he says, come back to my office tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And I said, okay, I'll be here. He said, I'm going to help you, you know, get out of this situation and get on your feet and everything. So I come out, you know, the meeting wasn't that long. I get in the car with my sister and I tell her, I say, I can give you some more gas and I can even pay you for bringing me. But no, she was mad. No, I told her first. And I say, I can pay for the gas because I'm thinking they told her they was going to help her too. And I said, he want me to come back in the morning. He's going to help me with my situation. And she was like, how in the are they gonna help you, but they can't help me? And who the fuck are you to get help over me? And she just starts flying in the car and driving crazy. And I'm just like, I ain't saying nothing, because when I tell you crazy on to the 10th power on 4 different levels on 10 different realms, crazy. So now I am being cussed out, I am being belittled, I am being provoked, I am being just ripped to shreds because these people say, because they say they're gonna help me. So the next morning, she got up, she acted like she didn't want to take my daughter to daycare and take me to my meeting. So, she just dragging around the house. We normally be gone by this time. So I'm like, hey, everything okay? You ready to go? Yeah, mother, I'm ready to. Like, literally, this is how these demons would talk to me. This is how they would treat me. And they'll stand before you and say this never happened. But this is my experience. This is my truth. Their experience, it never happened. So she lashes into me right then and there when I say, hey, everything okay? You ready to go? And that's another thing that irritates my mother's and my mother and my sister's spirit about me, is that I have this very soft childlike voice, and I'm very loving. And they're not. They're very rough around the edges. They're street fighters. I mean, they should have been and they could have been professional boxers. And they should have been and they could have been. They could have been very successful at boxing because they love to do it so much. And to build them a mental up and be angry enough to even get in that ring, they would have been nice in the ring. So she latched on to me like a god dang gone lion on a wildebeest, and she just started cussing me out in front of my children, and that's another reason why my children really don't respect me, is because they see other people don't respect me. And it's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. And so we got my daughter in the car. We dropped my oldest daughter off at daycare, and then I took my youngest daughter with me. And as we're driving into town, because she stayed in the shores, so as we're driving into town, she's just telling me how I'm a nothing ass, how I'm lazy. Now, mind you, everything that I'm saying, believe it. Yes, it's time. Go ahead. So everything that I'm saying, unfortunately, my sister was describing herself, and I had to sit and watch her do these things to her children and behave this way. And if I would try to talk to her, I would get cussed out. So, she was telling me how I was a nothing ass, how I'm lazy, how I don't clean. Mind you, I had her house clean, immaculate every day. I fed, look in my room. Okay, well, look on the counter. Ask money. I fed her children, my children, which is my nieces, my nephews. Okay, sweetheart. So, you know, I even babysitted for her. She wasn't even there most of the time. Like, I was at her house for like a week, and maybe 2 weeks at the most, and she wasn't even there a lot. So I was there taking care of her, my nieces, my nephews, making sure the house clean, making sure everybody's fed, everybody's bathed and laid down and everything, and her house is clean. You know, being that she wasn't charging me rent, I felt like it was my duty, and me as a woman, like, I like cleanliness. I like, so she didn't never have to tell me to clean up. She never told me that to get off your ass and do something. My child father would come, and he would, throw her a couple dollars for us being there. So just on the way, she just telling me how I'm a nothing ass, how I'm lazy, how I don't take care of my kids, how my kids be hungry, how my kids be walking around looking for food. And literally, I was sitting there watching my nephews walk around look for food, and I told my sister, it's nothing in the cabinets. Let's go to the store. Let's go to the store. Yes. No. And let's go to the store and get some things for the kids or whatever, so we could cook or you could cook or whatever. So she's just letting me have it. She is like, how in the can they help you? Who do you think you are? Why would they want to help anyone like you? They should be trying to help me and not you. She literally, you know how dogs be growling and foaming out the mouth? She began to foam out of her mouth. And, Spirit just said, don't say anything, because she will put you and your child out of this vehicle, and she will leave y'all side the road. I didn't plan on saying anything anyways, because I'm just really sitting here hurt and in disbelief and just disappointed that my sister would feel this way about me receiving help to get back on my feet. And I just sat there and I just looked out the window, and she just cussed me like I have never been cussed like that before in my life. And for it all to be lies, it was very intense. And so when we got there, I thought she was gonna wait outside for me. And when we pulled up, I got my baby out the back seat, and I'm holding my baby. I closed the door, and before I could close the door, and I'm telling her, the meeting's not gonna take that long. This demon pulls off. I'm talking about speeding out of the parking lot, right into traffic. Just so happened, the people in the center saw her do this. So at this point, I'm hysterical. I'm in there, I'm breaking down. I done broke down, I'm crying. I'm like, I don't know why they do this to me. I haven't done anything. I am being, ripped to pieces because I am gonna be helped. And the lady that worked in there, and everybody saw her do this, and then me saying what happened, they like, yeah, baby, your family, they crazy, but we finna get you some help today. So I could not stop crying. I'm hysterical. Now my heart is pacing. I'm like 30 minutes away from my daughter. Anybody that knows Ocala knows that the shores in Ocala it's a stretch. With traffic, it's probably 30 minutes. So without traffic, it's probably 20 minutes. But my heart is pounding. I'm hyperventilating. I don't know how I'm gonna get to my child. So like, I'm not even thinking about the help anymore. So when Mr. Hackmeyer gets there, he's like, he sees me all hysterical. He helps me calm down so I can tell him what's going on. And he says, you know what? He made a phone call, and he called an advocate / police officer / mentor up there for me. And he says, stop crying. We gonna get your baby. We gonna get y'all settled in. Everything is gonna be fine. The other lady that worked in the Human Resource Center, she vouched for me. She like, yeah, her sister pulled up, and we could hear the rubbers the tires out of the parking lot. And so Miss Monica, shout out to Miss Monica if you come across this video. So she and Mr. Hackmeyer say, is she such a good mom? She's such a good mom. Ask her daughter whatever color, and she did. She was like, what color is this? And my baby said red, and she said, oh yeah, come on, pack up your things. She said, because my daughter, my grandchild don't even know his own name, let alone a color. She don't teach my grandson nothing. All she interested in is ripping and running the streets, and she lived with me. She ain't even trying to get herself together. Yes, baby, we finna help you. So I'm like, okay. And they get me. We go to the shores. We get my daughter. We go to my sister's house. I'm able to get my suitcases and my kids' things and stuff like that. And my sister is just still, like I could just see steam all around her. And I just looked at her and I said, thank you for allowing me and my kids to stay here as long as you did. I really appreciate it. And I'm really thankful. And I thank you. And, you know, I'm going to go with them now and they're going to help me. And she didn't even say you welcome. She didn't say nothing. She just was so pissed off that I wasn't going to be homeless no more. So glory to God. Glory to the Most High. Confirmation. Thank you to my spiritual team and my ancestors for always being there even when I wasn't aware of them. So we got into a hotel, a nice hotel that had a stove. It was just like a little apartment, and I could cook for my kids and everything like that. So Mr. Hackmeyer was like, you know, now we got to get you a job. Now that we got the girls in daycare, now we're going to get you a job. So this is where the Wilsons come in at, and the Woodyards come in at. So Mr. Hackmeyer said that I'm going to connect you with someone that I know I see you being, and, you know, y'all share the same story, and she has a success story, and I want her to share it with you because she was homeless and she overcame, you know, being homeless, and now she has a successful business, 222 on the clock. So I'm gonna send her to pick you up, and I want you to meet with her and her husband, and they're going to, you know, y'all gonna get to know each other, and they're gonna employ you through their company. They're gonna give you a job. So I'm excited. So, oh God, forgive me. I don't remember her name. Because I really don't remember a lot of these people's names because, like I said, I was obedient and I detached myself from these people. Oh God, what's her name? Miss Tamika. Am I right? Ooh. If I'm not, y'all, whoever Fulton Wilson's wife is, okay? So Miss Tamika came and picked me up. She pulled up big, nice truck. What year was it? I don't know what year it was. But whatever year it was, baby, honey, that's what year truck she had, honey. She didn't pull up lacking. You know what I'm saying? She pulled up, and to me, that was a real success story. And when I got in the truck, baby, I had my daughter car seat, and she knew I was different then. Cause you know, these I don't even know what to call them. These little girls, they transport their children without car seats. The baby 6-month-old strapped in a seatbelt, you know, or the baby's 1 year old, no car seat. So when she pulled up and I had that car seat, baby, she knew I was a different type of parent. Okay, mine gonna be safe. And she said, oh, okay. And she saw how I had my kids. Their hair was nice, their clothes was clean, ironed, everything. And we clicked. We clicked. And she just began to tell me her testimony. And again, if you come across this video, thank you for sharing. I told her that day though, you know, thank you for sharing your story with me. And she began to just tell me how she became homeless and how she overcame being homeless. And then we went to go and meet her husband. And when she introduced me to her husband, which was Mr. Fulton Wilson, I just still felt, I felt a slight off energy, but it's like her energy was like pulling and tying everything in together, you know. And she introduced me to him. You know, we had a little chat, and then I remember it was like his energy was a little, and she felt it too. So she started playing around with him. She was like, Vanessa, you want to see me beat the pastor up? You want to see me knock the pastor out? And I was just, you know, start laughing or whatever. And then she, you know, they was like, so let's go out to eat and, you know, discuss some more things. Then we're going to drop you back off to your hotel room. So we went out to eat, me, her, Mr. Wilson, and the kids and my kids, her kids and my kids. And the kids got along, and the kids was talking to me and just telling me certain things. And, you know, she was telling me about math, and me and her clicked again because I was like, girl, math is not it for me. And she was like, yeah, me either. And so we just, you know, we formed a bond, and, you know, they let me know that they wanted me to help with the business, and that was the main goal, to get me a job within the business, doing something, whether I'm working with clients, whether I'm doing paperwork, whether I'm answering the phone. That was the main goal. And we actually had a few more meetings. There was a few more times that Mr. Wilson came and picked me up, and he was supposed to be mentoring me. And this third time he came and picked me up. So the first time his wife came and picked me up. The second time he came and picked me up, and we just, you know, talked. And then the third time he came and picked me up, and he was just talking to me, and he was like, oh, like out of the blue, oh, I saw your dad at the store, and he pulled me to the side, and he was like, oh, thank you for helping my daughter in her situation right now. And I was like, yeah, really? My dad told you thank you? I said, he could easily help me, but see, this is the witchcraft. My dad and my mom did this purposely. As soon as I became homeless, my dad moved his wife's girlfriend. My dad divorced his wife, and by the next month he was married again. And as soon as I became homeless, my dad moved his wife's girlfriend in my grandmother's home right there on Jones side. And I said, yeah. Well, he had an opportunity to help me, and he moved his he moved his wife's daughter in my grandmother's house. So I guess, you know, I said, I guess, you know, I didn't feel, because see, this is the magic that they try to do. They try to, you know, they tried to make me homeless and then put someone else in my position, and they want me to snap. They want me to go crazy. They want me to, you know, oh, y'all don't love me. How could y'all do this to me? I'm homeless and you move a stranger in my car. I was like, okay, you know, all right. And literally, we rode past, and I was wondering, and as we rode past on Jones, we looked, and he was like, oh, you not lying. The lady sitting outside on her car at my grandmother's house, her little kids running around, playing in the yard, having a good time. And he was like, whoa, you ain't lying, you telling the truth. But this is where things take a turn for the worse, okay? He's supposed to be my mentor. He's supposed to be employing me. And he took me to I want to say, the whorehouse, the trap house, the gambling house. He took me to Miss Chicken's house on Jones on 6th. I don't know these people, mind you. So we pull up. I'm thinking he like, get out. I want to introduce you. And I'm like, okay. When we pulled up, they playing dominoes, slapping dominoes on the side of the house, drinking, smoking. Then you got, that's 5 people just on the side of the house, 5 niggas. Then you got 2, 3 females on the porch. Then you go inside. It's 6 more women inside. They rolling up, smoking, drinking. So I was like, okay, well, I felt uncomfortable then. But that wasn't it. And this man looked to these women and was like, oh, y'all watch her and her kids. I'll be back to pick her up later. I was like, I ain't even gonna lie, he froze me. Never let him know your next move. Oh, baby, I was like, how is he gonna leave me around 20 strangers? And mind you, people steady pulling up, buying weed, buying coke, buying X pills, buying Molly. So not only the 30 people at this lady house, it's other people pulling up, getting what they need. So I was very uncomfortable. I felt betrayed. I felt lost. I felt so many different emotions, but the one emotion that I had that kicked in was protect my children. So I got a chair and I set it in the front yard away from everybody and everything, and I just put both of my kids in my lap, and I was just holding my children, and I was just rocking my children, and I was just praying like, God, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know these people. Even though I'm 2 streets from my grandmother's house, I can't go to my grandma's house. I can't call my dad. I can't call my mom. I can't call anyone. I feel so alone. I feel so stripped. And his daughter, Miss Kyria, walks over to me and was like, here, you want to hit this blunt? And I'm like, no, I don't want to smoke because I don't want them to take my kids from me. I don't want them to piss test me. I'm trying to get me a job through the company, and I want my piss to be clean. And she started laughing at me. She said, girl, ain't nobody finna take your kids. Ain't nobody finna drug test you. Girl, if you don't come over here and hit this blunt and stop and loosen up some, cause baby, I was holding my 2 children, one in this, one in, and I was like this, like, this weird to me. Like, I don't hang out in places like this. Not with my children. Now, in my past, before I had kids, yeah, I was, but not hang there. You know what I'm saying? So I did, and I talked to her a little bit that day and everything, and then I kind of cooled down, but I was just in disbelief. I was just in shock that this man was supposed to be my mentor. He was supposed to be leading and guiding me. And I was already on the right track. I was already focused. I was already determined. You get what I'm saying? And so for him to drop me off at a drug house, at a prostitution house, at a crack house, at an alcoholism house, at a house that's full of chaos, dysfunction, lying, stealing, skeeting, you know, I was just like, oh my God, I could not believe that this man had did this to me. So he came, picked me up, took me back to my hotel. I didn't say anything, y'all. I was just still in shock and disbelief. I was hurt, and I didn't speak up for myself. I didn't say, why would you drop me off there? Why would you, say you're going to offer me a job and then drop me off at a drug house with people I don't know, around strangers? Me and my children is around smoking weed and drinking. They cussing. They not being mindful of what they saying around kids. I just felt so disrespected and disgusted. He dropped me off back at my hotel, and I really didn't hear from him for a few days, and then I was introduced to Miss Gina Woodyard, right? So they sent Miss Gina, and I met with Miss Gina. We did the same thing, She came to my hotel, picked me and my 2 children up. We talked, and I, once again, met her through Fulton, and because she wanted to help with the move, because Mr. Hackmeyer had found me an apartment. So I was in the process of transitioning, to my apartment. And so she said that she would pay. I had a storage with all my belongings, my bed and my furniture and things like that. She said she would offer to pay for my storage for me to receive my furniture and have it delivered to my apartment, which I told her I was thankful, I was very grateful. Here's where we ran into the issue. My mother had the storage unit put in her name for these purposes right here. And my mother also had my deposit, which was $369. I'ma just keep it 100. It wasn't no big deposit that I had to save up for my apartment or whatever. Wait, I think it was 600 because it's double. Okay, so yeah, like 600 or something, or whatever. I don't remember that part, but she still had it because my mom said I could move with her if I handed her over my money, handed her over my child support, handed her over my food stamps. So every time I got paid, I had to give it to my mom, and my mom had to give me $20 and $30 out of my money for me and my kids to survive off of that. So me and Miss Gina went to the Miss Gina contacted my mom and asked her could she meet us at the storage unit. She was gonna pay for everything. She didn't have to pay for anything, and my mom cussed Miss Gina out, but still met us up there. I got out. I said, "Hey, Mom, how you doing?" This woman tried to attack me, and I had to run from my mother. So I'm running around Miss Gina's van, and you know my mom really can't run that fast. So when I got back around, Miss Gina hit the unlock button. I was able to get in the vehicle and hurry up and close the door. And she ended up giving Miss Gina the keys to the storage unit, and we had to pull off because my mother was just still in this rage that I was being helped. Because mind you, this is the same rage that my sister felt, because when these witches put their money together and they pay for magic and voodoo to be done on you and it doesn't work, they get angry because all that money they spent, all that time they spent, how they thought it was working, and then, you know, God sends people in to help, and then the help turns into those same evil demonic forces. So I move into my apartment. Mind you, the job, Mr. Wilson hadn't presented me with a job, hadn't said anything else to me about a job, right? When I first was presented with my apartment that Mr. Hagmeyer found for me, I was hurt. It was very dark back there. It was very, it was scary back there, right there on Jones, dirt road. For a single mother with 2 children, it was like, it gets dark back there. Like, it's dark. And the last time I was around Fulton, he took me to see it, and I just remember I started crying. And Fulton was like, well, if you was my daughter, I would feel the same way. You know, I would really be on edge about your safety back here. But he says, you know, God put his lights in the darkest places so that it can shine. And I received that message, and I felt like I can do it. I felt like this is just a stepping stone to where I'm going, you know. So I moved into my apartment. Once again, still I am not presented with a job through Fulton or his wife. After he dropped me off to meet his daughters and Miss Chicken on 6th Street, I never really had another, oh yes I did. I had another encounter with his wife, but it wasn't really like close. So I moved in, and they still hadn't presented me with a job. So when I spoke with Mr. Hackmeyer, he was confused at this point as to why hasn't these people employed me? And Fulton has his own business, his wife has his own business, and Miss Gina has her own business. So Mr. Hagmeyer ended up getting me a different job through a different company, and I love that job, right? And it paid me more than what Mr. Fulton was supposed to pay me, and whatever they was gonna offer, I was making more. So I'm at my apartment one day, and I am very feminine. I am a lady. That's who I am. My brother gave me the nickname Lady. The first time he met me, I think I was about 5 or 6. And I was the type of child that if my nails wasn't painted, I would cry. If I didn't have a purse, I would cry. If my clothes didn't match, I would cry. And so I was just a little lady. And so when he pulled up, I had on how I always dress. I don't care what I'm wearing. I want to wear heels. Heal me, baby. Heal me. I want to heal. Okay? My Crocs, put a heel on them, please. And thank you. I want to heal on everything. So I had on heels and a dress. And he pulled up and he was like, oh, I'm glad you got that on. I'm glad you dressed like that. And you wasn't even expecting me to come over here. And I'm like, why does this man always freeze me? Why don't it's never adding up his energy and what he's saying and and so I'm like, yeah, because they trying to say that you like me and you trying to seduce me. And I said, what? I don't like you. I'm not trying to seduce you. And he's like, I know, that's what I told him. And I'm like, them? He's like, Tamika and Gina. Gina said that she not giving you a job because you got a seductive spirit. You have what did he say? You got a Jezebel spirit, and she don't want you around the office and around her husband with that seductive Jezebel spirit you got. So that's why she didn't give you a job. And now she trying to put it in my wife's head that it's something going on between us. And now my wife is like, oh yeah, and that's why we ain't giving her a job either, because we don't need that around here. We don't want her. And I'm like, really? This is why y'all didn't give me a job? Because I wear heels? Because I wear dresses? Yeah, they trying to say that you're seductive. They're trying to say that you like to sleep around. You're a hoe. Mind you, these are supposed to be my mentors now. These are supposed to be women that took me up underneath their wings, and they're calling me a whore, and they're saying I'm a home wrecker, and they're saying that basically we will sit here and let you and your children starve before we give you a job, right? So I said, this is what I said to him. I said, I am not attracted to you. I look at you as my mentor. I look at you as like a father figure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see you like, I've never seen, it just never crossed my mind. And then for Miss Gina to be putting it inside your wife's head, because me and the wife clicked like I told you. And then I just really didn't hear from them again until I started my cleaning business. So I started my cleaning business, and then they wanted to come back around. It's like they popped back up. And he wanted me to clean for him. So I'm like, these people are so funny. Now you won't give me a job in your business. So I go off, I get me another job with the help of Mr. Hackmeyer. And I take that money and I invest it into myself. I make me some business cards. And so now you want me to come clean your home. Who ain't finna go get that money? Baby, the boss is here, okay? The boss. So I was cleaning his home one day, and I feel like I had on a collared shirt, buttoned up, and I had on some jeans, tennis shoes. To me, that's appropriate to clean, you know, unless you want to wear scrubs. I feel like that's appropriate too. Scrubs are okay to clean. And so I'm cleaning, and his wife comes in, and she has these jeans, and she's like, oh, I want you to put these on. I would feel more comfortable if you put these on. So I'm like, okay, all right, no problem. I don't have a problem with, you know, helping a married woman feel comfortable with me being around her husband. So I put the pants on, but mind you, I wear a size 7. These pants was a size 16. So when I did bend over to sweep up the trash or rearrange the closet, my whole behind is now out. I'm like, oh my God. Now I feel uncomfortable. Every time I bend over, my whole butt, panties, everything is out. So I finished that week cleaning for them, and then I didn't go back. And then he didn't want to pay me for my services. He didn't want to pay me, so I had to go to Mr. Hackmeyer and let Mr. Hackmeyer know that. Matter of fact, Mr. Hackmeyer contacted me because he knew something wasn't right with Mr. Wilson. And he said, "Are they paying you for cleaning?" I said, "No, they're not." And he said, "Okay, I'm going to call you right back." And he hung up that phone and he called Mr. Fulton. And Mr. Fulton had to run me my money. He owed me $138. So Mr. Fulton was mad about that he had to run me my money. So then after that, like I said, still, I was never presented with a job. And they really wasn't trying to help me after that. His daughters clung to me though. You know, they knew they could come to my house to get rest. They knew they could come to my house to get a hot shower. They knew they could come to my house to get a hot meal. They knew they could come to my house to just chill and relax. They knew they could always pull up to my house and get a hot meal and get some real good energy. Because if the energy wasn't good, they wouldn't stay coming like how they came. Now, I began to notice that something off with these people. You know, his daughters would start coming around using me for my car, using me to, you know, eat, and then they would leave. I didn't see nothing wrong with it because I didn't want to do the things that they were doing. I didn't want to go the places that they were going. I didn't want to hang around the people that they were hanging out with. So I didn't take it wrong that, you know, and not only the Wilsons pulled up to my house to get a good hot meal. A lot of people in Ocala did. A lot of people would pull up to my house and eat, and they would get this energy that I know that I carry, that I know I possess. And I didn't see a problem with it because I know that I'm a healer. I know that I'm a healer. They thought that I didn't know who I was because I'm not finna go around boasting and bragging about who I am. For what? I'm gonna let you think what you think of me. I'm not put on this earth to try to prove to you who I am. That's not what I'm living for. That's not what I'm doing it for. So whatever you think, that's what it is. And so it just continued to grow. And they would just gang stalk me, watch me. I remember that his daughters started coming to my house and just tearing up my house. I had got gifted a $300 Victoria's Secret bed set. They was smoking on my bed, burning. They done burnt up my comforter. They just leave trash everywhere. Now I got roaches. They leaving past. They leaving their dirty clothes. And then they talking about me. So it just became, too much. So I tried to disconnect from his children, both of his daughters. Then I ended up moving into a house, and it's just still like they just became so much. It's like they would only come around me to try to steal something, or to try to gain something, or to try to, clone themselves and cloak themselves within my energy. Like I said in my other video, me and Miss Carrie Wilson was at my house, and I just had this idea. I was like, you know what? I want to go get a tattoo. And she was like, what you want? What it's going to say? I said, I'm going to get misunderstood, because I said a lot of people misunderstand me. So I do feel like I'm misunderstood. Not even a week later, it was her birthday, and she decided to have a tattoo party, right? So I get to the tattoo party, and she done got misunderstood on her back, big as day. And I say, oh, and you think I'm not finna get it? That was my idea. And you think I'm not finna get it? And you paying for it. Because that's how God works. You want to steal something, but I'm finna get it too. I'm still gonna get it. And you gotta pay for it. Because I think her baby daddy at the time, Bud, paid for like 6 or 7 friends to get a tattoo or whatever. So yeah, baby, I still got my tattoo. Misunderstood, right? So not everybody at the party looking at me weird because I went and got the same tattoo that she got. But they don't know, a week prior to this, I told her that I was going to, excuse me, I told her that I was going to get this tattoo, and she went and got it. And I just lost contact with Fulton. He never really did come back around me after that. And Miss Gina would just pop in, you know, here and there and just ask me certain questions. Oh, how you gonna do that? How you gonna get this? I remember one time I was looking, I wanted a truck. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to get me a truck. And they like, oh, how you gonna do that? They're asking because they have already went and paid for spell work to be done on me, that I don't get that I don't receive that I don't do that. Now, why? I'm not working in your company because you say I'm gonna take your husband. I'm not, you won't give me a job. Miss Gina wouldn't give me a job because she says I'm seductive. I got a seductive spirit about me because I like to dress up and wear heels. So you won't give me a job because you scared I'm gonna take your husband. Okay, I don't come around your office. I don't come. So why are you, now that I want to purchase a truck, you just pop up and now you asking me how I'm gonna purchase a truck? Ended up still purchasing the truck. And what she felt about me happened to her. She hired plenty of people over me because they was married. I started going to church, and she employed my pastor's wife and didn't employ me. Why? Because I didn't have a husband. And so I'm a threat to the business because I don't have a husband. But you're married, Miss Gina Woodyard, and you're sleeping with Fulton and you have a husband. I'm a threat to the company, to Mr. Fulton, because he's married, but he's sleeping with Gina. Make it make sense. So what ended up happening is Miss Kyria ended up stabbing Miss Gina in the back. She ended up stealing Social Security numbers from her and filing them fraudulently. Then, confirmation, she hired another woman over me. This woman took her husband. Yeah, I guess she had that seductive Jezebel spirit on her. And Miss Gina couldn't see that. See, Miss Gina couldn't see that spirit on her, but she could see it on me, though. And this woman ran off with her husband, ran off on the plug twice because she got that business. Because, see, the husband come with the business and the business come with the husband. So she ran off with your husband and she ran off with half the business. Then we had Miss Yanni just quit on you. She ain't reliable. She ain't dependable. She got her a boyfriend, and she just, you know, she couldn't work no more since she had a boyfriend. But you didn't want to. You didn't want to give me a job though. Y'all rather had to sit there and watched me and my children struggle and starve. Now, and this is what they would do. They would treat me like I'm Orphan Annie. They would come around and, oh, you need any toiletry? You need any food? You got your little cup out ready? We're gonna throw a few changes. We're gonna throw a couple quarters in there. Why? I'm fully capable, I'm fully able to work. And guess what? I can outwork all of y'all. Sleep. Those wasn't my intentions to be looking for no. And they did me like that in the church as well. I was just gonna speak on Mr. Wilson and Miss Woodyard, but the church is spilling over into it too, because the church would do the same thing. Pastor sitting up there talking about how people can look like Beyonce, but they all jacked up and messed up on the inside. Now he's only saying this because I'm in the church, right? And these women, they getting skeptical now. They like, oh, she gonna steal our husband, right? So they send me on a date with the drummer, right? And now, no, don't get me wrong, he was attractive, he was okay, but once I got around him and filled him out and felt how he was and everything like that, I just wasn't interested no more. So because I wasn't interested in the drummer, they like, well, who are you interested in? I thought I was coming here to be interested in God. I thought I was coming here to heal. I thought I was coming here to worship. Y'all want to play matchmaker, and because it's not a match, now the pastor up here preaching about how you can be fine as Beyonce, but jacked all up in the inside. I'm jacked up in the inside because I don't want to date him. Well, okay, all right, have it your way, you know, have it your way. But I'm saying this to say this. I disconnected from these people because God told me to. They were no good for me. Mind you, I told you he had a conversation with my dad. My dad told him not to employ me. My dad told him that I was a hoe and a home wrecker and all these other bad things. I disconnected from these people. I moved to Houston, Texas, and I began a new life. Now, the thing about healing and being whole, it's like you don't hold grudges. So it's like you do forget that people done crossed you, you know, as time goes on. And that's what these witches and these warlocks do. They make sure time has passed. So Mr. Fulton ended up reaching out to me about Forex. Now, this is how he reached out to me. He reached out to me doing the same thing that my sister did. All this projecting, just spilling out. I'm in Houston. I'm settled in. I'm doing good. I got me a new car. I got me a new job. I'm getting ready to transition. And I was looking for a side hustle that I could do from home and try to transition from working out to working in. So when he contacted me about the Forex, I was very much interested. I had the money to invest in myself. That's one thing that I admire about me. I don't care if nobody else does it. I'm not afraid to invest in me, whether it be time, whether it be money, whether it be healing, whether it be whatever I need to invest in me. I'm not afraid to invest that in me. And so he just got on the phone and it was welcoming, but he was we were friends on Facebook, right? And he trying to act like he don't know that I moved out of Ocala. I posted it that I moved out of Ocala. I post where I moved to. I've been posting, and you are my friend on Facebook, so you know what's going on. But he got on the phone and acted like he didn't know that I had left out of Ocala. He didn't know nothing that happened to me. Nothing he didn't, which was all lies. So he just started cussing me out, y'all. He just started cussing. Oh, this Forex business ain't for females that want to be in the streets, and this Forex business ain't for females that's always in the club and ain't never home with their kids and ain't taking care of their business. And I was like, excuse me? And then he kind of toned it down like, oh, I'm just saying, you got to be dedicated. You got to be dedicated. You got to be focused on this. You got to be focused if you want to do Forex. And I'm like, but who are you talking to, though? Do you think you talking to Kyria? Do you think you talking to Yanni? Because, baby, that's where you can never find me at in the streets. That's where you can never find me. If you look for me, you ain't gonna never find me there. So what you talking about? Because right now, you ain't really talking about nothing. You being very disrespectful. And I don't appreciate it. I'm saying all this in my head, though, y'all. But I did tell him, I said, excuse me? I said, if I dedicate myself to something, then that's what it is. I'm going to be dedicated to it. But in my mind, I knew he was projecting. And he was speaking to me as if I'm Kyria or I'm Yanni. And I'm like, I couldn't get over that. So I told him, excuse me. And I'm like, I said, you describing somebody else. That's not me. So he kind of laid off of it. Not even a week later, he contacted me again. We on the phone. He gets enraged again because I started a cleaning service in Houston. How did you do that? And I was like, I took out a loan. Why would you take out a loan? Now you got to pay it back. Y'all just want to work outside of the home. Y'all don't want to work inside of the home so that y'all could be home with y'all kids. And like, why is there so much rage in his voice when he is speaking to me? And I thought about it. I said, this is why God told me to disconnect. This is why God told me to disconnect from these people. From Mr. Wilson, from Miss Gina, from Carrier, from Yanni, from the whole city, right? Because this man is going off on me because I started a cleaning service and I took out a loan. Why would you do that? Mind you, never heard him speak like this before until now. Why would you do that? That's what I'm saying. Y'all women rather work outside of the house than make money from home and be home with your children. And I'm like, that is the goal, but I haven't reached it yet. I have to establish some type of stability before I can stay home. Excuse me. And I just remember getting off the phone, blocking him, and deleting him from my social media. And I said, I'm gonna be obedient to God and cut these people off because I just couldn't understand why he was on the phone lecturing me after he had praised me. He was like, oh, I'm so proud of you. You moved to Houston. You got away. You were always so dedicated. You was always so determined. And you have this talk about you. Like you can talk to anybody. You can communicate with anybody. I really like that about you, that you can walk up to any stranger and you can communicate and you can talk to them and everything like that. And then now it's like 2 seconds later, you talking to me about how I can't be in the clubs, how I can't be in the streets, how I can't be chasing niggas. I said, chasing niggas? Why does this man want to talk to me like this when he can simply call his daughter and because these are all the things that they were doing. But they still had a job. But they still was getting helped. And then Miss Gina got to turn around and press charges on Miss Carrier for stealing dead people's social security numbers. But that's who you want working for you. That's who you want to represent Eagle Medical. You want prostitutes and hoes and thieves to work for you. And because I'm none of those things, I don't qualify. Oh, your hips and the way you walk and the way you sway and the way you always wear heels. Girl, we can't have that around our husband. And let me tell you, the same way Miss Gina think is the same way all those women in the church think. That's why I don't have no place in the church. Church ain't no place for me. Because it's a big occult. And let me tell you something. I struggled the most financially, spiritually, and as a person. I struggled the most being in churches, and this is why, because the women hated me. They hated me, but they would lay hands on me, acting like they praying for me all the time. They was cursing me. Anchor ministry. Whole time they was cursing me. Tarnishing my name, ruining my image, ruining my reputation, gang stalking me. You dropped me off to a drug dealing house with me and my 2 babies. There was nothing but weed, drink, lean, Molly. And then you turn around and tell me, oh, I don't got no business smoking. I'm supposed to be the success story. I'm supposed to be the protege. I'm supposed to be the billboard. No, you dropped me off with the wolves and you're mad because you came back. I was leading the pack. Shame on y'all, man. Shame on y'all. That's how I feel, like shame on y'all. Didn't want to help an innocent single mother who just wanted to do right, who just wanted to feed her kids, who just wanted to take care of her kids and get on the right road and get on the right path and stay there. Knowing I didn't have a father figure to protect me, to be there for me. Knowing I didn't have a mother. His daughter, Kyrie, will always try to get me in this fight, get me in that fight, get me in this, get me in that. Try to have my head wrapped all around lies and stuff like that. Try to distract me from working out. I was a real friend. They would take my car and borrow my car and wouldn't even call me and ask me if I needed a ride somewhere. I knew I was tripping. I knew I had bumped my head in. And he even talked to me about that. He was like, don't be letting them use your car, and then they run out they'll use my car, run out all my gas, bring my car back on E. That's how they felt about me. That was their thank you. Shame on these people who all they had to do was do right by me. And then they'll say, oh, life is just lifing. Things are just happening to me because things are happening to you because you put your hands and you put your mouth and you try to attach certain spirits to God's chosen one, to the real true one. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, but a prophet ain't welcome in his own home. A prophet ain't welcome in his home, in his own hometown. I ain't saying I'm no prophet, but I said I had a dream that your daughter was laughing at me because I was going to church. And they was laughing at me and picking at me because I was going to church, and then people just started being unalived and going to jail. All these people that was laughing at me. And when it started happening, she still didn't want to believe. So I'm not going to, it's like, I feel like they got mental issue twisted and confused. People feel like, oh, because I got a job, I got a house, I got a car, that you ain't got mental health issues. You ain't got identity, you ain't suffering from identity confusion. His daughter thinking she me. Kyrie thinking she me. How you me when I can't never pull up to your house and get a hot meal and you got a baby? How you me when every time I pull up to your house, your daughter diaper hanging between her knees full of piss or feces, and I gotta go change her? I bet she that baby had a diaper rash every time I changed her. I bet she still got a pink bottom. You pull up to their house, it's throw up outside, bowls, spoons, cups. You gotta wipe your feet going in. You don't wanna touch nothing. You don't wanna sit. I'm talking about house just filthy nasty. I ain't never been in no nasty, filthy, dirty house like that before. And I done been in some nasty, dirty, filthy houses just to... What the... Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go. I have to. And that's what you want to drop me off with. That's who you want to leave me with. Shame on you, Miss Gina Woodyard, for not giving me a job. But you know, it is what it is. All is well. This is from a healed and whole place, and that's my story on how I was introduced to these gang stalkers, this secret society. And I say they're a secret society because they have secret meetings about me. You had a secret meeting about me with my dad. That's why you didn't give me a job. You had secret meetings about me with Miss Gina and your wife. That's why y'all came up with the conclusion that we're not going to give her a job because we don't want her around our husbands. And that's what you came and told me. It is what it is. All forgiven. Love, light. Love, light, peace. Thank you for your time and thank you for your patience. This is a lengthy video, but it's the tea, the truth.